Hey, how you guys doing out there today? This is Stephen Jimenez from the Roto Beast team, and I'm here to present you our NBA picks for Thursday, October 26th. As always, if you want to watch our full video, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Roto Beast. And if you want to play the actual lineups that we're playing, please visit our website at www.rotobeast.net. So before we jump into it, I just want to, I want to tell you about tonight. It was so frustrating. Literally lost $200 in my cash games by anywhere from 0.3 to 0.7 points. Not even a full point. John Wall, oh man, you had the absolute best matchup. You got called out by LeVar Ball. I thought you were going to come out and ball tonight. I thought it was a guaranteed lock for 50 from you, John Wall. And you give me 36 points and I lose by less than a point. Come on, of all people to bust on me tonight, you did it to me? Alright, had to get that off my chest. Sorry, I'm so frustrated with it. I mean, $200 by less than 1 point. I'd rather lose by 25 points than by less than a point. But, hey, it is what it is. So let's jump into tonight. Before we get started with tonight, one thing I am going to tell you about this slate. It's an ugly 5-game slate. If you don't have to play tonight, I suggest you probably just sit it out. I mean, this slate is ugly. 2 nights ago, the Jimmy Butler slate where all that drama happened, I thought that slate was ugly. I tried to tell all my members, and they didn't want to listen. Well, I'm telling you again, this slate is ugly. So if you play, at least bet light. I mean, I understand you, somebody has to win, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? The slate's just ugly. Plain and simple. But let's jump into it and kind of get going. I'm going to give you the best advice that I could give you. I'm going to kind of just break down the quick teams that are going to be going, the teams that have the highest projected point totals, and then at the end of the video, I'll give you my top 5 players at each position, all right? So we'll start with the Los Angeles Clippers at Portland. This game has the highest implied total of 212. Portland is favored by 2 points. This game, I mean, I think it's going to be a back and forth. It's going to be a pretty fast-paced game. I like, Blake Griffin on the Clippers side, and I really like C.J. McCollum on the Portland side. Thing about Lillard is he's going to get guarded by Patrick Beverley, and I really don't like, facing Patrick Beverley targeting him. So the next game is the Boston at Milwaukee. This game has a second highest implied total of 207 implied total points. Milwaukee's favored by 4. And then we got the New Orleans at Sacramento. This total is 203 total, which is third highest on the slate. And Sacramento is favored by 2. And to be completely honest with you, this line, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I understand that Anthony Davis may be out, but I still think that the New Orleans Pelicans are a better team than Sacramento. Sacramento's in a rebuilding phase, and they have a bunch of young guys. And you got Boogie Cousins going back to Sacramento, and we know that he's going to put on a show for us tomorrow, going back to his old home. So I don't really understand the Vegas line, so I'm going to watch it tomorrow during the day and kind of see if it swings or what's going on. But this game, it is going to be a solid game to target tonight. And then we got the Atlanta at Chicago. This has a 201 total. It's the 4th highest on the slate. The Bulls are favored by 2.5. Like I said, I mean, none of these games are exciting, but, I mean, we got to make the best of it. I like, there's a couple of cheap guys on Atlanta that we could go after, as well as Chicago. But this is the game that, I'm going to be looking at a little bit, but there's nothing really that jumps out on the page to me. And then the last game of the slate is Dallas at Memphis. This is the lowest implied total on the slate at only 197 projected points. Both of these teams are pretty slow-paced teams. And then, Memphis is favored by a whopping 9 points. So, they expect Memphis to kind of just get on Dallas. Those are the games that are going on this 5-game slate. The top teams that we're going to target, we'll start with the best and work our way down. The Portland Trail Blazers, they're expected to score 107 points, which is the highest total on the slate. I think that this is going to be a close game with the Clippers, and the Portland Trail Blazers actually get a .4 pace bump. in this game, so it's gonna, maybe a couple extra shots for Lillard, McCollum. Next, we'll talk about the Bucks. They have 106 implied total, projected points, which is the second highest on the slate. I also think that this Bucks and Celtics game is going to be close as well. Thing about this game for the Bucks is they actually get a 1.5 pace down, which may take a shot or two. Probably out of Giannis's and Antetokounmpo's hands since he shoots all their shots anyways. But the Bucks still look really good. We got the Clippers next, projected 105 points, third highest on the slate. They get a slight pace down going against the Portland Trailblazers, but this is the other side of the game that is the highest scoring on the slate, so we definitely got to look at the Clippers. I really like Blake Griffin. We'll go to the Grizzlies, have the fourth highest implied total at 103 points. This is actually a 3.2 pace down for them. Memphis Grizzlies used to be the slowest pace, and now I guess this season it's looking like Dallas if they're getting this much of a pace down. But they are a major favorite in this contest, so the Grizzlies have a couple good players and good Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. Those are guys that you could definitely look at on this slate. You know what you're going to get from them. A lot of these teams have a lot of rookies going, and it's going to be hard to find solid guys for our cash games. There's only one guy that I feel is a real lock. That's Antetokounmpo. I think he's going to be the highest owned player on this slate, and he should be. By far. And after that, it's kind of like, okay, well, which way are we going to go? But we'll get to our players. So next we'll talk about the Kings. They have 103 implied total, tied for fourth highest with the Grizzlies. This is a pace-up game for them at 2.1 pace-up percentage. I'm going against the Pelicans, and they're favored. Vegas likes them. So they're a team you could probably get a couple of cheap plays off of. And then you got the Celtics, the other side of the second highest implied total game against Milwaukee. Celtics are implied 102 points tonight, which is fifth highest on the slate. But this is a little bit of a pace down for them, at a 3% pace down for them going against Milwaukee. And you can also look at the Bulls guys and some Pelican guys, but there's nobody really on those teams that excite me outside of a DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis possibly if he plays. So those are the games. The games are ugly. Like I said, there's a lot of teams that they're playing a lot of rookies. There's not really no big names on this slate. And looks like a little bit tougher slate. You got to pick the right value because I think all the bigger names are going to be chalk, and it's just which value guys are going to go off. But let me jump into my picks for you. Make sure you have a pen and paper so you can write these down. And use these as your player pool. I'm giving you 5 or 6 players at each position. Work each one. Work them in and out. With the different combinations. See what you could come up with. And so we'll start with point guard. Even though I don't like going against Patrick Beverley, Damian Lillard is the most talented point guard on this slate. So I got to put him as our top point guard on this slate. Then I really like Malcolm Brogdon. I'm going against Boston, Kyrie Irving. He's a good offensive player, but he doesn't play too much defense. The only thing is you got to be careful. Brogdon was out the other day, so we got to see if he's back. If not, you got to, as much as it's going to hurt me, you got to kind of maybe look at Dellavedova a little bit for real cheap. I like the Milwaukee backcourt going against Irving. Next, we'll talk about Patrick Beverley. He's on the other side of the highest projected total game. The guy gets a little bit of everything: steals, blocks, assists, points, rebounds. He does fill out the stat sheet, so I do like him today. Mike Conley, like I said, he's one of the two-headed monsters for Memphis with Marc Gasol, so I like him. And then you got your boy Kyrie Irving. He hasn't done nothing spectacular this year. He's due for the breakout game. I don't know if it's going to be here, but I feel like this game is going to be very close, and they're going to need Irving scoring against Antetokounmpo, so I do like him on this slate. Another guy I would mention for the cheap is if Dennis Schroeder is out for the Hawks, I like Delaney. He did pretty good the other day. He hit value, so he's a cheap option. We could look at a point guard. Now we'll move on to the shooting guards. I think the top shooting guard on the slate is going to be C.J. McCollum. The guy's just been good. I mean, there's nobody else on this slate at shooting guard that's really even in his class. I mean, he's pretty much an all-star shooting guard, and the rest of the people are kind of just, a lot of these guys are pretty much, guys who are just role players. So after C.J. McCollum, you got to look at guys like Tony Snell. He's getting a lot of minutes for the Bucks. Austin Rivers for the Clippers, Andrew Harrison for the Memphis Grizzlies, Buddy Hield for Sacramento, and Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. Those are the top shooting guards I'm going to be looking at. Next at small forward, we're going to start with Mo Harkless. For the Portland Trailblazers, this guy fills up the stat sheet. I really like him. Chris Middleton, the guy's a scorer for the Bucks. I like Chris Middleton a lot. I think he's really, really talented, and I'm going to be eyeing him tomorrow. Then you got Danilo Gallinari. I think those three small forwards are pretty much kind of in their own class. I really like Gallinari tomorrow. He's, probably my third favorite shooting guard. A small forward. And then a couple other guys I'll mention that you could look at is James Ennis, Justin Jackson, and Jason Tatum for the Boston Celtics. The rookie's been pretty good. So moving on to power forward, we're going to start with Al-Farouq Aminu for the Blazers. I really like the Blazers on this slate a lot. Just depending on price, depends on how many I'm going to be able to get in. The Blazers look very, very good. So you got Aminu at power forward, and then you got the guy. You might as well just lock this guy in. Don't think about it, because if you don't put this guy in your lineup, you're just going to lose. I'm warning you now. Antetokounmpo, he's going to be 80% owned tomorrow in all cash games. He's a great play going against the Boston Celtics. This game's going to be close. I really like this game. Just lock in Antetokounmpo at power forward. Another guy that you got to really consider locking in tomorrow is going to be Blake Griffin. Without Chris Paul, he's been getting tons of usage. And I really like him tomorrow. And I think if you can make it work, I think, a solid core would be starting with Antetokounmpo and Blake Griffin in your lineup. And then you got Jarrell Martin for cheap. Zach Randolph for the Kings. He had a bad game last game, and he's a veteran. I expect him to bounce back. You got Al Horford for the Celtics. He's been playing pretty good this year. And then, if he's healthy, you can never not consider Anthony Davis. The problem is he going to be healthy, and is he going to get hurt 5 minutes into the game just like he did last game? So it is a big question mark, but if he's out there, you got to definitely consider it. And we'll finish off with the picks with center. I really like Joseph Nurkic for the Portland Trailblazers. The guy's good. He hasn't had no massive games this year, but we've seen it a lot last year, and the guy can have as big of a game as anybody on this slate, except for maybe Cousins. Cousins just kind of is in his own class. But outside of Cousins, I really like Nurkic, Thon Maker, DeAndre Jordan, Marc Gasol, Robin Lopez. He's been, getting a tons of usage with the Bulls. And then I can tell you, DeMarcus Cousins is the best one on the slate by far. But one thing we got to think about is that there's not, tons of players that are absolutely jumping out on the page, and the center position is the deepest position on the slate, so you can't really just absolutely lock in Cousins, because you got to figure out, all the pieces around your lineup. But if you could, I really, really like Cousins tomorrow. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So thank you for watching my video. I'll be back tomorrow with my picks for Friday. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button below. Please leave some likes, some comments. If there's people that you like that I didn't mention, leave a comment and we can discuss them. And I can tell you what I think about them. You can tell me what you think, why you like them, and we can figure it out for you. So let me know. And hey, let's win some money tomorrow, all right?